Welcome everyone. Let me start this tutorial with a question. How do we truly measure the value of the work done by medical teams? Unlike sales teams, where success can often be easily tied to revenues or market share, the contributions of medical teams, like Medical Science Liaisons, MSLs, are multifaceted and not always quantifiable. This has long been a challenge for medical affairs professionals. But as the pharmaceutical industry evolves, so does the role of medical affairs. Today, we're no longer simply supporting scientific initiatives. We've become a strategic pillar within organizations. And with this elevated role comes the pressing need to establish clear goals and metrics to measure the effectiveness of our engagements, particularly with key opinion leaders, KOLs. In this tutorial, we'll dive deep into understanding how to set SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound for KOL engagements. Then, we'll explore the types of metrics you can use: qualitative, quantitative, operational, and value-based to evaluate the effectiveness of your MSL team's efforts. By the end of this session, you'll not only know how to measure the impact of KOL engagements, but also how to align these metrics with your organization's broader strategic goals. Let's get started. In the past, medical affairs teams often operated in the shadows, with their contributions overshadowed by commercial metrics like revenue generation or prescription numbers. But times have changed. As medical affairs teams now play a critical role in bridging the gap between science and business, measuring the effectiveness of our work has become non-negotiable. This is especially true for KOL engagements. Why? Because these relationships provide invaluable insights, enhance credibility, and pave the way for meaningful advancements in patient care. However, effectively managing and evaluating KOL engagements requires more than just good intentions. It demands a strategic approach with clearly defined objectives. Let's talk about one of the most effective frameworks for setting objectives: SMART goals. Many medical affairs professionals struggle with ambiguity in their KOL engagement objectives. Without clear goals, you risk inefficiencies, missed opportunities, and difficulties in performance assessment. That's where SMART goals come into play. Here's what SMART stands for: specific. Clearly define what you hope to achieve. For example, instead of saying, improve relationships with KOLs, say, conduct 3 quarterly webinars with oncology KOLs over the next 12 months to share research findings on a new medication. Measurable. Use quantifiable indicators to evaluate success, such as the number of KOLs engaged or the feedback received on educational content. Achievable. Set goals that challenge you but are realistic given your resources. Unrealistic goals only set your team up for failure. Relevant. Ensure goals align with broader organizational objectives. For example, engaging dermatology KOLs won't make sense if your focus is cardiovascular medicine. Time-bound. Define a clear timeline for achieving your objectives. Deadlines create accountability and urgency. By using SMART goals, you provide a roadmap for engagement that eliminates ambiguity and makes performance measurement straightforward. Now, let's take it a step further. Goals can be classified based on their perspective. Short-term goals focus on immediate objectives, such as engaging with 10 new KOLs within a quarter. Long-term goals involve broader initiatives, like building lasting partnerships over several years. Strategic goals answer the why and focus on outcomes like influencing clinical guidelines. Tactical goals address the how and involve the operational steps to achieve strategic objectives. When setting goals for KOL engagements, it's crucial to align short-term tactical actions with long-term strategic outcomes. Once you've set your goals, how do you measure them? Medical affairs teams can use 4 types of metrics to evaluate their effectiveness. Qualitative metrics. Focus on the quality of interactions. For example, use post-engagement surveys to assess KOL satisfaction. Measure the relevance of topics discussed through feedback. Quantitative metrics. These are numerical and easily measurable. Examples include number of KOLs engaged, frequency of interactions, number of publications authored by KOLs in collaboration with your team. Operational metrics. Evaluate the efficiency of processes. For instance, track the completion of initiatives like advisory board meetings or educational webinars. Value-based metrics. Assess long-term impact, such as frequency of KOL mentions of your product in public forums, contributions to clinical guidelines over 2 to 3 years. Using a combination of qualitative and quantitative metrics is often the most effective approach. Qualitative metrics ensure the quality of engagements, while quantitative metrics provide the numbers to back it up. Let's look at some practical examples. Qualitative example. Post-engagement surveys can measure KOL satisfaction with questions about the relevance of discussion topics, the usefulness of materials presented, and openness to future collaboration. Quantitative example. Track the number of research publications resulting from KOL collaborations or the frequency of interactions with top-tier KOLs. Operational example. Measure the efficiency of onboarding processes for new KOLs or the completion rate of key initiatives like symposiums. Value-based example. Analyze the sentiment and frequency of KOL recommendations of your product in scientific forums or publications. One of the most critical aspects of demonstrating the value of KOL engagements lies in strategic planning. Without a clear and deliberate strategy, backed by measurable objectives, showcasing the true impact of your initiatives becomes nearly impossible. Let's emphasize this point. If you want to show the impact, you must think ahead. Before launching any medical initiative, ask yourself, how will I measure the impact of this initiative? This forward-thinking approach is the foundation of effective KOL engagement. Strategic planning for KOL engagements isn't just important, it's essential. It ensures that every interaction, every initiative, and every partnership is aligned with broader organizational goals and has a clear path to measurable outcomes. Without this planning, even the most well-executed engagements can fall short of demonstrating their value to stakeholders. So, why strategic planning matters? When KOL engagements are planned strategically, they provide not just meaningful interactions, but also measurable contributions to scientific and organizational goals. Here's why this matters. Clarity on objectives. Strategic planning helps define what success looks like. For example, is the goal to influence clinical guidelines, build advocacy, or generate data? These objectives shape the metrics you'll use to evaluate impact. Alignment with organizational goals. By planning ahead, you ensure that KOL engagements align with the company's priorities, such as supporting a new product launch or addressing unmet medical needs in a therapeutic area. Demonstrable value. When metrics are built into the strategy from the beginning, the impact becomes easier to measure and communicate, whether it's in terms of publications, scientific influence, or patient outcomes. The cost of neglecting strategic planning. Think about this. Without a clear plan, how can you quantify success? Imagine launching a KOL engagement initiative without defining how its impact will be assessed. 6 months later, you're left with interactions and activities, but no tangible proof of their value. This lack of foresight can undermine your team's credibility and make it harder to justify resources for future initiatives. Strategic planning must start before any initiative begins. Ask yourself, what outcomes are we trying to achieve? What metrics will demonstrate success? How will we collect and analyze the data to prove our impact? Failing to plan for metrics from the outset creates a reactive approach where you're scrambling to justify value after the fact, which is both ineffective and avoidable. Incorporating metrics into strategic planning. When building your KOL engagement strategy, integrate metrics as part of the planning process. Here's how to do it effectively. Define impactful goals. Use SMART goals to establish what you want to achieve, ensuring they are measurable and relevant to your organization's priorities. Choose the right metrics. Determine which combination of qualitative, quantitative, operational, and value-based metrics will best capture the impact of your engagements. Plan data collection. Decide early how you will gather the data needed to measure these metrics, whether through surveys, analytics tools, or other methods. Regularly review and adjust. Build flexibility into your strategy to adjust goals or metrics based on ongoing insights and changing organizational needs. Demonstrating the strategic impact of KOL engagements. Strategic planning also enables you to tie KOL engagements to broader organizational outcomes, such as scientific influence, demonstrating how KOL collaborations contribute to clinical guidelines or high-impact publications. Advocacy development, measuring how KOLs promote your therapies through public endorsements or citations in their work. Improved patient care, showing how insights from KOLs influence product development and ultimately benefit patients. This proactive approach ensures that every KOL engagement isn't just an interaction, but a measurable step toward achieving your organization's strategic goals. The key takeaway. Remember this mantra: if you don't plan to measure it, you can't showcase it. Effective measurement of KOL engagement impact starts long before the first interaction. By embedding metrics into your strategic planning process, you not only demonstrate the value of your initiatives, but also ensure that every effort contributes meaningfully to the success of your team and organization. Strategic planning isn't just about the how, it's about the why, and ensuring that every initiative delivers tangible, measurable value. I also want to encourage you to explore our comprehensive series of tutorials on strategic thinking and planning in medical affairs. These tutorials dive deep into the core principles, frameworks, and actionable strategies that can elevate your approach to medical initiatives, including KOL engagement, data analytics, and beyond. Strategic thinking is not just a skill, it's the backbone of impactful medical affairs practices, helping you align your efforts with organizational goals and drive measurable outcomes. Make sure to check the link in the description below to access the full series and take your strategic planning capabilities to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, in this tutorial, we explored the SMART Goals framework and its application in KOL engagements, as well as the metrics used to evaluate their effectiveness. By setting clear goals and measuring them through a combination of qualitative, quantitative, operational, and value-based metrics, you can transform your MSL team's efforts into strategic, measurable outcomes. The foundation of success lies in strategic planning. Remember, if you don't plan to measure it, you can't showcase it. By thinking ahead and aligning your goals and metrics with the broader objectives of your organization, you ensure that your KOL engagements not only meet immediate needs, but also contribute to long-term success. Thank you for dedicating your time to this session. Your commitment to learning and growth reflects the passion and dedication needed to excel in medical affairs. Best of luck as you continue building meaningful KOL relationships and demonstrating the impact of your work. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in future sessions.